Hello and welcome to Farscape.
A fun-filled Farscape fancast by a fervent fan.
And a frankly fascinated first-timer.
I'm Kaki.
I'm Kay.
And
this is the story So Farscape. And what another Farscape story it is.
Frelling Freslin-fueled Farscape episode. We're talking about Season 3, Episode 13, Scratch and Sniff.
There was a lot of sniffing. Not so much scratching, but...
Oh, what a joy. What an absolute joy it was to return to this episode, which I haven't seen in ages, and man, it's still a trip.
It's quite a different take from the usual Farscape fare, I would say.
Right.
It's also...
So what... I don't know. I mean, do you really think so? Sorry, I'm trying to do the coquettish thing. But I sort of promised myself, I'm going to really frail with him this time. Really?
I kind of did. So who directed it? Because I noticed that there was a very different style in, basically presentation.
Well, it's a familiar face. It's Tony Tills. He's done a lot of the episodes.
Right, yeah.
In season 1, he's a regular. So nothing too remarkable there. It was written by Lily Taylor, and she's done a fair few before. She also did, A Clockwork Nambari.
Oh, yeah?
Was one of hers, and she's one of the story producers. But yeah, this went through some iterations.
Oh, can imagine.
Whenever we do one of these episodes, I do a lot of research in the Farscape Encyclopedia Project, the Snurcher's Guide, the Visual Companion, and the Creatures of Farscape books. And I usually have sometimes I have up to half a page of notes from there. I have a full page of pre-production notes.
Damn.
This time. So finding the right tone was incredibly difficult because they wanted it to both be a little bit lighter than the rest of the fare, but also it deals with, slavery.
Yeah.
And sexual exploitation and drug addiction and sales. And
yes. And how much fun are we having? Yes. I can imagine that it was like tricky to get that right in the cut, which I noticed they're doing a lot. There's lots of records. Well, they don't actually record scratch it, but it's that typical freeze frame thing.
Yeah.
There's some fourth wall breaking. There's lots of speeding up and slowing down. I wonder if he watched Human Traffic before he made this episode.
I don't remember off the top of my head. It's very possible that was one of the influences.
There's a lot of similar visual takes on it. But of course, that's how they like to visualize, drug parties and drug use in general.
Right.
It's very hard to convey that feeling and that atmosphere visually.
Yes. Once we get there, I did recognize certain, from my own modest past, and I know that you have lived in circumstances where that was
fairly common. So let's run by the synopses. I'm really looking forward to these because I'd want to see what our listeners made out of this.
Gosh, do you remember how I've been asking for synopses earlier in the season?
Yes.
It's looking a little thin. Even back then, this episode was just filled with people have been sending in synopses since season 2.
Damn! Oh, they were looking forward to it as well. So, window shopping in fishnet stockings. Thank you, EJ.
They're sucking the juices out of Red. If we don't stop them, she'll be dead. What happened last night? Are the girls all right? I don't believe a word you've said. Thanks, Rick from the Delta Quadrant. Continuing with the rhyming verse.
It's fantastic. It's Fear and Loathing in Las Lomo. An expectation of relaxation quickly faces disintegration when intoxication, profligation, and illicit medication cause distraction and disorientation, allowing abduction and subjugation without much preparation and in spite of inebriation. Our heroes undertake an investigation to discover their shipmate location and hopefully secure their emancipation.
Whoa!
Despite pilot's disinclination, John attempts an explanation regarding their unscheduled reunification, but this disjointed recitation draws a hostile accusation of intentional obfuscation, barring recohabitation. Thank you, Jenna.
I'm holding too many things. I can't finger snap along with this beat poem. Oh, isn't it fine? Isn't it find how tales after the bender get blown out of proportion? Thanks, the Derp Prime. I think that may be a little bit of... Isn't it find?
I would think so.
That may be a little bit of autocorrect there. Isn't it funny how tales after the bender get blown out of proportion? Yes, I do like that.
While exiled from Moya, John and Dargo party hard and wake up in a storefront. Jewel and Shiana are used to create a sex drug, and the guys must save them by pretending to be rich bidders. And Dargo meets Harvey. Thank you, Billy Roberts.
Continuing, the crew gets more than they bargained for when they get kicked off the ship onto a planet designed for Pleasure. Featuring Tim Curry-level thigh highs,
Oh,
an
yeah.
alien voyeur, extract of ecstasy, and a fitting end to a loathable villain. Thanks, Redshirt Wookie.
And welcome to Space Vegas. But in this case, what Moya crew does on a beach vacation planet does not necessarily stay on a beach vacation planet. Watch in delight as an erotic Farscape fanfiction gets turned into a full canonical episode. Who will pass the taste test? Thank you, Matthew B.
Yes, I see everybody had a lot of fun, as did we. Because this episode opens with... Oh, wait, hold on.
Prepare to starburst.
Yeah. This episode opens with a shot of a bar. It's a lovely tracking shot. They've got all these, I don't know, they look like sort of multicolored
Drinks. I've seen those bottles before. I'm sure those were a thing at a certain point, that they were being sold as some sort of energy drink type container.
Yeah.
Because they're just like these little plastic rib bottles with a big bulge on the end and a straw in the top.
Yeah.
And the creature department really got to go nuts on this. Yeah, my first thought was like, these are Star Wars cantina levels of aliens walking around.
Yes. The creature shop had a lot of fun with this. Like, specifically, Dave Elsey mentioned that he got a note from Kemper. Hey, you want to alien it up? Because it's been kind of bipedal lately. And he's like, yeah. And even here, like, it's hard to tell just how many of these are prosthetics and how many of these are just crazy outfits, because there's just so much. And it's so colorful and bright, and this bizarre editing already gets you in the mood. You mentioned like human trafficking.
Yeah.
I think Natural Born Killers was also one of the inspirations. Because what happened was originally this was filmed as sort of a sort of detective noir. It
Right.
was filmed much more linear. And that didn't quite get the tone right.
I can see that. It would be serious and a little bit dark and edgy, maybe. even.
Right. It was tricky. And then apparently mid-filming, David Kemper suggested, what if this was framed as Crichton's narrative?
Right, yeah.
And so Tony Tills and Wayne Leclos, I think that's how you pronounce it, CLOS, I think it's a French name, who's the editor, apparently like they disappeared into an editing cave for several weeks, and they came out with this, which has 1,300 cuts in it, which is, I think, triple the average for Farscape.
No really long tracking shots or anything like that, no.
No, lots of repetition, certainly early on, lots of zapping back and forth through continuity.
Yeah, I was like...
It's a weird universe out there, man. You don't know that because you're spending all your time indoors.
That kind of faked me out, I suppose. I thought there was going to be something else going on with John's narrative and how things were... the little repeat thing. I thought there might have been some weird
what were you
screwery going on. I wasn't like I didn't have my mind on anything yet. I just thought the repeating of certain things which happened. I was thinking, okay, maybe this is just like it's something drug infused or maybe actual replay stuff going on.
Yeah, maybe another Scarron in
something like that.
Interrogation.
Yes, yeah, something like that.
Okay.
It opens with a shot which is actually the cause of this problem. It's Dargo and John arguing.
How can you say that?
Because it's true. You're exactly like a Sebation.
In what way am I like a Sebation?
In that you think that you are superior, and that you treat the rest of us like animals.
When have I ever treated you like that?
Only every time we have to make a decision and you think that the best idea is your idea.
And we only know that at this point they have been banished from Moya. And this is like, oh, have they been banished? And Pilot put his foot down?
Yeah.
And like, Pilot kicked him off? Can he do that?
Since when does he have feet to put down?
Well,
Has it occurred to you why Pilot banished you from Moya? No. Because you're both acting like a couple of immature trench knots.
I can't believe you pissed him off.
I didn't piss him off. You pissed him
You
off.
did.
Grow up. Or ignore each other, or kill each other, but just stop fighting all the time.
Yeah, Chiana reminds them. Chiana's looking great, by the way. Did you notice her
yeah.
hair?
She's had a little hair lift, I think.
Glad you noticed. Yeah, apparently, like after 2 years of punishment, as the wig mistress put it, they retired her old wig and gave her a new one.
Oh, okay.
It looks very silvery, I think. It's a bit
does
shorter.
It is a bit more of a pixie cut, and but yeah, she looks really good in it.
As banishments go, this one isn't too bad because they're loaded, presumably still from the Shadow Depository.
I suppose, yeah, and they are spending it, and they're having fun. I mean, the arguing between Dargo and John quickly turns into Chana and what's her name again?
Jules,
thank you, to announce that we're gonna have some fun, give us some money, and we'll be out partying.
Yeah, I kind of love that. Yeah, I'm out of money. Come on.
And soon
Share some more.
enough, two lasses show up to come and party with John and Dargo. Dargo wants to keep them both for himself, but John goes like, no, 4 of us are leaving here.
Yes.
I have so much cash in my pocket that I can assure you that the 3 of us will be out of here on our hands and knees come sunrise tomorrow morning. I've been arrested for saying exactly the same thing on 4 different planets.
Oh.
And we get to see Dargo boogie down. Something
Yes.
chronic.
He does the funky chicken.
No one wants to
No,
dance.
go away.
And so does Crichton's sort of cool guy dancing. I kind of love it. It's so oafish and yet also very charming. I mean, he's a better dancer than I am.
Oh,
But-
yeah. I mean, I'm not speaking for you. I'm speaking for myself here. But yes, definitely.
Right. But this... Actually, at this point, a little clue is already revealed. Because we see that those girls are first hanging out with this alien called Raxel.
Mm-hmm.
This alien is Raxel. There's one like her on every planet. And these girls, well, we never did get their names.
And she passes them a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Now, this is easy to miss among the many edits, and you're not really paying attention to it here, but I thought it was kind of cool that it's actually pretty...
It's already implied that she's hiring them to do a little job there. Yes.
I sort of love how Chi and Jewel go and party. That they come back for some more money, which is on the one hand sort of like a teenager coming to dad,
Right.
But also like, where would she be keeping money in that costume?
Well, considering we're the same place everybody else is keeping their money in this bar, because there's a lot of money disappearing into cleaverage we're seeing in various shots here.
Oh, and Chi's going to be a good friend. She says, like, as soon as Jewel passes out, I'll drag her back to the shuttle, which is a good looking out.
This is fairly true to behavior. But we also see John do a couple of fourth wall breaks here, which later turns out that because he's actually talking to Pilot and telling this story.
Yeah.
Let me finish my story. Shut up and let me tell my story. Can I please tell the story the way I want to tell it?
And then, cut to black. All the intensity it comes to a crescendo, and we fade out and we find ourselves on the morning after the night before on the floor of a sort of go-go palace with clothes strewn about and a severely hungover John and Dargo trying to figure out where
What
they are.
happened?
What didn't happen?
Yes, he's in some sort of weird, circular tube where he's apparently been sleeping. He's passed out. They discover that...
They spiked our drinks and took our money.
They rolled us?
Yeah, they rolled us. You know, these
My pulse
shots
pistol.
that we took, they spiked them.
My pulse pistol. They took my damn pulse pistol.
No, we didn't bring our guns. They're still on the pot.
I know. I love how John's priority was to sort of check his holster.
Yes. And it turns out that they're behind a window and they're being stared at by people, having a bit of a laugh at them.
Yeah. John is kind of confused. He's just put his shirt back on, his lovely green shirt.
Yes. Apparently
Okay.
it is Thai High Thursday on Space Vegas because John strikes a fantastic pose
Why don't you just get dressed and give him a good show, sweetheart?
I am dressed.
and Dargo kind of looking between his legs at the people looking at them. It's a brilliant shot.
Oh yes, a very famous gif that has I think served its purpose quite generously throughout the history of the Farscape fandom. Also, Crichton's yelp when he looks down, sees his predicament. Ah! He really looks good in those.
He
in those
does.
tights.
He pulls it off very nicely.
There's a lot of fishnet attire on this planet
Oh,
in
yes.
general. When there is attire.
I noticed that the assistant to the bad guy also, he's wearing this outfit with a boob window, which
Yeah,
is
he's
then
got a lovely dress on.
fishnetted open. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Very charming. I mean, just in general, everyone here is absolutely gorgeous because apparently the bar also has a beach area,
Yes.
which was filmed in, I don't know if I'm going to say it right, Marabura.
Sounds about right.
Yep, Marabura Beach. I don't know where the emphasis goes.
Yeah, to me, it kind of looked like we are on a space Burning Man here at this point.
All right. I mean,
inflatable couches on the beach. And
Yes.
So this is where I'm starting to wonder, okay, what's the continuity here? Because there seems to be several jumps back and forth. That
Right.
the talking here on the beach seems to be at a different point in time than, I mean, John is obviously another day ahead, but there seems to be a little bit of a weird back and forth, which doesn't make any difference to the story, but to me it feels like it's out of phase with everything else happening and not going back and forth to the beach. But
The way I understand it, the beach and the bar are one continuous space.
Right.
And it's easy to go back and forth. So when you're looking for someone at the bar, you might as well hang out at the beach because you're still going to see them. We just never see those two locations because one was in a studio and one was on a freezing Australian beach at 8
oh
a.m.
god, all those poor people wearing almost nothing.
I know. I mean, on the one hand, it must be a relief from the sweltering heat of Australia. On the other hand, I wonder if we ever get the much-desired HD transfer, I wonder if you're going to see everybody really goose pimples in their really skimpy, gorgeous clothing.
Naked. Totally naked.
The boys get a little bit more than the girls, but barely.
Yep. And back on there, we have our little space badger. You know what I'm referring to, right?
Raxel.
Yes.
There's one like her on every planet.
That is Francesca Buller, Ben Browder's wife, returning once again.
Yes.
She was Emily.
But I must eat something now.
And she was also the little betraying assistant in Look at the Princess.
Yes, that's what I thought she was. So
I often wonder what I would do with wealth.
she does a pretty good Cockney accent.
Wait. I got something for you. I got a sort of recording of all that happened last night.
So she was given this script where, like, the role was originally written for a man.
Yeah.
And then she just had tremendous fun with it. But she decided to go for sort of a Cockney accent, as you mentioned, which was her interpretation of the sort of Joe Pesci character in a film whose name now escapes me. But yeah, he's this self-serving, conniving, like Badger from Firefly.
Right. Speaks really fast and is clearly trying to get them involved in something. Like, oh, you don't have any money anymore.
What are you gonna do? I'm gonna scream!
No, don't scream! Did you steal our currency?
What are you talking about? I didn't steal anything. I came over here to talk to you, you know? But you looked so angry before when you were in the window.
Not talking about the window.
On Crichton's suggestion, he recognises Raxel and they lure her in with a smile, and then Dargo turns up the heat and smashes her into the inflatable chairs. She really gets knocked around a lot every time that she shows up on Farscape. She had a great time, though. She thought that Anthony was fantastic. And she introduces them to...
Mr. Kabar? Mr. Kabar?
Hey, I don't think I'm going to keep the chronology very straight again on this one.
Yeah.
I don't think that's very easy to do, but she starts to give them some clues about what happened, and she has an idea for how they can find more clues about what happened to Chi and Jewel.
Yeah, well, they talk a little bit about what happened and that they're probably off somewhere having a good time, which is then corroborated by the fact that we see Jewel in a bathtub.
Yeah.
Happily squealing about for something. I don't know what that bathtub's filled with, but some sort of crystal. It might be those orbs type thingies, those little squishy balls.
I don't know. The sort of... I swear I know these things as something. Maybe some kind of, like, absorbent?
Yeah, they're like those little... I think they're those...
little
gel
start of
things,
little granules.
And you throw them in a tub, and then they fill up the tub. They absorb the water, and then you can like have a little splash around in them
without actually getting wet. That looks like tremendous fun.
But she knows someone who keeps an eye on the bar, so to speak.
Hey,
a species which name of me escapes me right now.
Hanji.
Is that a Hanji?
Hanji? I don't believe you.
What's a Hanji?
A Hanji, yes.
Yeah.
Which Pilot doesn't believe that was actually a Hanji there.
This is the first time where you see Pilot. I mean, he has the sort of aspect of a horse and a hare.
Yeah.
And in this case, I sort of imagined he raises his neck, and I almost saw like his ears flatten, which he doesn't have. But they sort of silhouette changes. Like, huh?
He does have a great astonished expression on him at some point in this episode. It goes through angry to dismissive to, yes,
grumpy,
very surprised. Yeah. He's very reluctant to believe John's story.
I don't believe you.
Why not?
Too many inconsistencies. Too much obfuscation.
Obfuscation? How the hell does that translate?
Because, I mean, John is a bit of an unreliable narrator in this regard.
Yes.
As he literally says later on, he is like, I'm just telling the story my way. This is like what I say happened.
This was filmed during stolen time. Because this whole framing narrative, that was invented afterward, or it was suggested during.
That kind of, it has that feel after what you just told me regarding the way this episode was filmed.
Yeah. But like the money people or the producers had told David Kemper, no, we're not spending another minute on this episode. It's already way over budget. It was supposed to be just a little bit of filler, guys. Come on, it's so hugely over budget. But they had a little free time between two setups, and the puppeteering crew was already in pilot's den. And like, you guys game? Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they knocked it out in what little time they had left, and just didn't tell anyone.
Very good.
Good job.
This alien apparently has kept an eye on the bar, which, this is a little bit confusing again. So this alien...
Farscape? Confusing?
Lives near the windows that John and Dargo woke up next to. But apparently he keeps an eye on the bar, but it's not his bar, or maybe it is. It's a little bit unclear what's going on.
So, it is described that the Hanji...
What's a Hanji?
...is a species that's capable of recording things that they see.
Creature with removable eyes, optic nerves that continue to record and send back images even after they're separated from the body.
And playing back those recordings with their eyes, which don't necessarily have to be attached to their body.
No.
Okay, so you see it has two eyes.
Yeah.
This Hanji, this wonderful, like, hammerhead praying mantis
combination,
a fantastic animatronic puppet, like Dave Elsey was so proud. Oh, the neck is so thin, so you know for sure there's not a hand in it.
No, that's what I was going to say. It's like there's no way to hide any puppeteers in that. So that's like a brilliantly done puppet.
I'm nobody's puppet.
Mr. Elsey would be very proud to hear that. And it was capable of so much more than was actually shown here. And apparently... I'm going to have to bug Dave Elsey on Twitter about this, but apparently there is sort of a test run video somewhere of this puppet singing Sweet Transvestite to show off its lip-syncing capabilities, and that's perfect!
Yes. Dang.
You want the show.
So the what I think is happening is that at the ends of its sort of tentacles that are coming off of its head, that's where it has extra eyes. Which may have already been detached and sort of floating around.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Because when Raxel takes one of the tentacles...
She pops the cap off or whatever it is, yeah.
And I think that's maybe one of the eyes that hasn't been...
That makes sense,
maybe.
Yeah. Because, yes, apparently it can record these things because John actually describes it as a pornographer, which apparently is the kind of thing that it does. It records things that happen around in the bar and places and then sells those recordings, and Raxel has to pay him to show them what happened last night.
You don't think you get the show for free, do you?
And they each plug... I mean, it's the Farscape's obsession with eyes is well recorded.
I mean, John's complaining about it, but it's by far not the worst thing that has happened to one of his eyes. So
no, right?
Why is he going on about it?
Uh-oh. Eyes.
Eyes.
Corner of my eye.
John Crichton's eyes.
He said nothing about your eyes.
I got great eyes.
I have eyes as well.
Eyes on the task.
Or do they rip your eyes out?
Stick a needle in my eye.
And my eye falls out.
Why are your eyes red?
I love red eyes.
Brings out your eyes.
Eyes locked.
Or I'll tear your frilling eyes out.
Aye, your royal frogness.
So he slaps one of these tentacles over his eyes, and now they're in a shared sort of...
virtual reality.
Yes, like a holodeck.
Yeah.
They
And
see themselves.
We get a very sexy moment between Tiana and Jewel.
Very good.
They seem to have overcome their animosity and are
They
now...
seem to be very good friends.
Yes.
Crichton, this is a very good friend.
They're having a little dance-off. They're showing each other their moves. They're having fun together. I absolutely love this part. Gorgeous to look at. Two very athletic young women. And then they get to show off some of their skills. So apparently, they're taking some bar bets. And Jewel does a bunch of backflips. And I don't have a name for this. She was a gymnast. So this is her doing the actual stunt. I'm impressed that her wig mistress and costume department allowed her to do quite that much.
I mean... quick before makeup gets here.
Yeah, exactly.
And we see Tiana doing some fire spinning.
Also, Gigi Edgley's one of her many talents.
I was surprised there that this must be composited in, because there's not a chance that there would be that many people with that much makeup and prosthetics standing around while she's spinning fire poi.
Do you think not? I mean, zoom in on the... I don't think that's composited. I think that those are...
No, I know, it looks great. But in the other shots, when you see her from the front, she's standing in front of a more uniform grey background. And unless that's a TV screen that's in the bar, That's clearly shot somewhere else.
Oh, fair point. Well, okay, what I'm seeing is that on the shots from the side, she's only spinning forward and backwards. So right in a single plane, not sideways.
Yeah, so
and she's only
maybe there's nobody there standing there in that line of fire, so to speak.
Exactly. And then the stage was cleared when she does the cross-armed and because she's a professional. I mean, she put herself through college with a circus work, I do believe.
That sounds right. She invites a surfer boy to come stand in front of her while she does the fire spinning thing, and he actually passes out towards the end of it, and apparently she wins a lot of money. She goes like, see, told you, and...
Like, if there's a plot reason for this, I missed it, because I did notice that as soon as the surfer boy showed up, you sat up a little straighter and sort of paid attention.
He's a very handsome young man.
Apparently the intensity of her fire spinning and her trapezoid's talents is so overwhelming that he passes out. She wins a bunch of money, which she starts spending on more booze.
Raslack, make it large.
And then she is approached by Fetor.
Fetor, yes.
Fetor. Bad guy, dressed in black.
Do we know that actor?
The actor in question is Tamblyn Lord. Let me see. Actor and producer, known for The Man Who Sued God, Rush, Satisfaction, Neighbours for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he's an Australian actor. Of course he's been in Neighbours.
Yeah, you kind of have to be.
I mean, it's like if you're a British actor, you've been in Harry Potter. There's no really getting around that.
Yeah, at least twice.
I like watching you dance. I like watching you and your friend. But especially... you.
As they are watching Chiana's interaction with this man who gives her something to sniff, which seems to please her quite a lot, suddenly the picture gets cut out. They're like back in the normal world, and our little pornographer says like, oh no.
You didn't pay me enough to cross Fetor.
Screw you, you haven't paid me enough for that.
Yes, apparently he's a known, I mean... We find out that he's a local drug kingpin selling a drug called Freslin.
Freslin. Yeah, grade A Freslin.
Yes.
Which he introduces Chiana to, and she's just immediately overwhelmed by love potion number 9, I think.
John calls it later, yeah.
Yeah, Raxel calls it an attractant.
Mm-hmm. It either makes you attractive or attracts you to other people.
It's lovely when a drug just does whatever
changes
a verb.
your appearance.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
Are we fine with that?
I mean, she does say something about it just being pheromonal and not an actual physical appearance change, so it just makes everybody else see you differently.
The Freslin I sprayed him with radiates the pheromones outwards and creates an aura morph, so we all see Doggo like this. I made him very attractive, don't you think?
But it makes everybody see you the same way, which is different from how you already look.
Which is very peculiar.
An aura morph, and we just sort of have to accept it.
Yes. Cut to a scene where we find out how Fetor is doing his thing. He's got this like love chair with someone in it and all these hoses coming out, and like apparently they're sucking loads of fluids out, and that becomes the Freslin that they are selling.
Yes.
There's a little bit of arguing over whether this person should be milked any further, how much should be extracted, but he goes like, oh, we've got someone else lined up. I think she's going to be really exceptional, so drain this one.
Oh, what a sleazebag.
Yeah.
And what a really horrifying scene for such a chipper sort of go-go location. Like,
yeah.
The Tim Ferrier was challenged to make a chair that was even weirder than the one in The Ugly Truth.
Yeah.
Fetch the comfy chair.
That was even more outlandish, and it's this...
It's kind of like a tongue, which is...
Yes, I see what you mean. A tongue made out of candy.
Yeah.
In this white room with all of these tubes. I mean, the tubes look gorgeous. The room looks great. But this is a young woman who's been ensnared in a web of deception and violence, and is in the process of being killed for drugs here. Like, it's the sort of balancing act between the extreme grimness of the story and just the gonzo ecstasy of the production is nowhere is that shown better than here. And just Fetor is this sleazy, charismatic monster in cahoots with... I kind of like that John said, I'm not exactly sure.
But I think this is Fetor's sister.
Maybe. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not important. But quick shot back to the beach where they devise a plan to find Chiana and Jewel. They assume that they went with Fetor.
Yes, and Dargo did in fact go to Fetor, which he's come to the beach to tell... So Crichton's telling Pilot about how Dargo told him...
Yes, okay, that must be where my confusion in the sequence of events came from, because then, seems to be a flashback within the flashback of...
That's exactly what's happening, because we see Dargo knocking on the door... Gimp opens.
Knocking out a Gimp, which turns out to be Fetor security personnel or general servants around the house, because you see more of them later on.
They have these bondage mask uniforms that are just... Yeah, I've been to parties like that. That just shows up. And there's a reason for some of them to be dressed like that. Nobody's told me, but...
No.
Drinks are free. Let's go.
Dargo hears Jules screaming...
Joel! Are you all right?
Squealing turns out later because she's still in the tub, having a whale of a time. Chana is blissed out on a couch.
Everybody's having a great time. It's this beautiful apartment with just seaside windows all around. This is actually set designer Tim Ferrier's house.
Oh, very nice.
Right?
Damn. There's a clear distinction in the room because there's like several people who are lounging about in white terry cloth robes. Mm-hmm. And then there's like the Gimp masked assistants, I suppose.
The enforcers.
Yeah. And then there's the pretty girls which are lying about and which are clearly there for the entertainment.
So Dargo tells John that he made a little bit of a scene. He was trying to liberate Chiana and Jewel, but both of them insist that they're having a good time.
I came here to have a good time. Does that make you jealous?
No, I'm not jealous. It's just that...
Because you and me, we're not together anymore, are we?
I know we're not together anymore, but...
Well, then let go of me.
Yes, and they want to stay. Fetor's assistant pulls a gun on Dargo, and he gets basically kicked out of the place.
And at this point, like, if we hadn't seen that Fetor already was a murderous monster, you might still buy that he's just some local... I don't know. I'm looking for like an equivalent to someone who is just wealthy and charismatic and likes to throw parties and gets off on people having a good time at his parties, which is a thing, right?
No, totally. That's that's what people do. And it's like, Jewel and Chana are both very attractive people, and people like that tend to like to have other attractive people around their house and their parties.
Yeah.
And they're more than willing to invite them over to come over and have a good time.
Let's party! I am so there!
But we know that this is a trap, and Dargo, discovers that this is probably more than just a comfortable party, because to dissuade him from disrupting it any further, the enforcers draw guns.
Yeah.
They had weapons! You said it would be a party!
Apparently they're allowed to have guns.
Well, this guy's a drug kingpin. Even if the planet is a no-guns policy, the drug dealers usually have guns anyway.
Yeah. So Dargo takes out his rage on Raxel. You didn't tell us that there would be guns. You didn't inform us about, the process of milking, which he also reveals.
Yeah. Well, at this point, Raxel sprays Dargo with more of this. Fresnel, that's the one.
Fresnel is a type of lens.
Yes, which turns him into a raving dance maniac. And there's a cut to the scene where he's in the bar, dancing his Mivonks off.
It made him dance?
There is some effort to justify why he's doing it, because he was sprayed with Freslin, which is an attractant, and so they sort of corralled him off the beach where he would be dry humping everything that moved, and into the bar, and sort of convinced him that dancing is a good way to meet girls.
Where there's this guy dancing, and he's wearing what looks like blue crash netting, the stuff that you see along the sides of ski pistes and the likes, which someone's fashioned into a shirt. I swear that's the material, what they've used for that.
Can you imagine the squeaking on set?
Oh, you'd probably go sweaty very quickly, and then no squeaking. You'd just go uncomfortable slipping and chafing, because that stuff is not smooth.
I know. Just talcum powder sales must have been through the roof after this. Those poor extras.
Cut to a scene. Pilot, I don't believe it.
Yes, he does that thing again. He sort of raises his neck, makes himself taller. I don't believe... Because this is justifying to Mom why you were out so late and drove back in a different car than the one that you borrowed from her.
No more. Enough. Even I am not so gullible as to believe that Dargo turned into another creature. I do not appreciate the lies you tell in order to circumvent...
Whoa, ho, hold up!
John makes a fairly convincing argument to Pilot, saying,
How long have we known each other?
Approximately 2.5 long cycles.
I ever lie to you?
Which,
How long have we known each other?
Which is a point that Pilot reluctantly has to concede. And yes, 2.5 great, very long cycles. And this is where we learn that, Pilot is being fed up with them, and he's banished them from Moya for 10 days.
Yeah, just to give himself a rest.
Me and Moya, air quotes. I still hold to my theory that, like, whenever Pilot says me and Moya, or Moya says that it's just him making up.
Your father is very disappointed in you.
Pilot just making up Dren to make it sound more convincing.
And now Jewel falls into the clutches of Fetor. He's leading her through this... is it supposed to be a maze? All the walls have sort of red mazes drawn on them.
No, it's just somewhere in his place, I think.
Yeah.
Which is a bit weird and odd. But yes, he's got a surprise for you, and can you smell it?
Wow.
And leads her into this room, and she looks a bit concerned.
When she sees the gigantic sort of tongue chair.
Yeah, she's not immediately taken to it.
She sees someone lying in the corner, another sort of surfer dude-looking gentleman, who seems to be blissed out. He's also showing a lot of cleavage. There's a lot of boob windows on the men in this episode. I dig it.
I mean, I'm all for equal opportunity boob windows.
I'd like more midriff. That's kind of...
I mean, all the people on the beach are showing loads of midriff, so...
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think I'll get a lot of mileage out of those particular ships.
So this is all intercut with, our little badger, I forgot her name again.
Raxel,
that's the one. Talking to John, explaining what's been going on.
Why did you not tell us this earlier?
And kind of finding out how it all ties together.
Yes, because he spots the fishnet baboob windowed henchman that Rashford points out, like, who he is, and he could get us into the...
Yes. John pretends to be a buyer. He hears about, you've got this Freslin. Let me write that down.
Freslin, that's right. And at first he's rebuffed, but I kind of like that John takes it in stride, and he keeps going. He tries again. A few times until he name drops Mr. Kaba, which is the Hanji.
Right. Yeah, he told me to talk to you and that you're the best. And I'm rich and I want the best stuff. I got some good stuff. I got some stuff which wasn't really great and I need something better. Yeah, so, I mean, that's, I guess, a way to buy drugs. He hands him this little hemisphere copper thing and this will get you in.
That's some sort of token to get inside.
Yeah.
Poor Jewel is strapped to the table and...
getting drained, yes.
At this point, we find out that Fetor is known for his nose because...
Well, the base element of Freslin is found in the senile gland of sentient beings.
Oh, you mean like in people?
Yeah. Fetor's got a machine that milks this gland. And when there's a lot of demand, well, sometimes he'll milk them until they die.
And his sort of... ability to detect who will produce good shit makes him a successful dealer in these pleasure drugs. And now it's time to scheme. It's time for the Farscape plan, which is always one of my favorite parts.
Yes, they go back to the Hammerhead alien.
Hey, Hammerhead, how you doing? I'm back for some home video.
Get out! Get out!
I don't think so.
And ask to be shown the auction house, or at least at least Fetor's.
Ask/threaten.
Oh, yes.
John threatens to
snap your head off.
Which I take it in stride in the course of this episode, but it is threatening and completely unrelated and honestly innocent.
Yes.
Right? A plier of whatever trade he plies with his life for no reason, just to get your way and to move the plot along a little quicker.
Yes. I mean, John is getting a little bit rough around the edges. He's been getting there. But yeah, he gets shown an empty auction room in which, for no apparent reason, Harvey shows up.
Yeah.
Cardago.
No, it's okay. That's Harvey. It's not Scorpy. He's a puka. He's not real.
For the first time, linked via Hanji tentacles, he can introduce himself to Dargo. And he really hams it up here.
Yes.
Cardago. Give me 5.
He's like a circus ringmaster, giving himself a little drum roll as he, he gives bad advice. First of all, don't do this.
Yeah.
Just forget about the girls and go away. But since I know you won't.
Yes.
There's the circuit breakers, and there's the milking room.
I mean, that's not bad advice. I mean, John...
It's pretty good.
John calls it bad advice, like he's always here around, hanging around in my head and to give out bad advice. But this time the advice isn't pretty bad. It's pretty good. I mean, I don't know how he knows that that the circuit breakers are there. Maybe he just recognized them for what they are. Also, why the frell would you put circuit breakers high up in the corner of a big room? That's like circuit breakers you put in the utility closet somewhere where you can always get to them easily if you need to, and you don't have to like run around the entire room and.
Oh, it is a public space though.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't want it where the public can get at it.
Which is up inside the room in public. You want them ideally in a cupboard behind the bar or somewhere.
Oh yeah, fair enough. But they didn't. They only had so much budget for this set. You've got to put it somewhere.
Also, I noticed I suspect that this set is
merely
a bunch of screens and windows, because I'm fairly certain that in certain shots you can basically see Moya-esque ribbing in the background. So if you look at this set, if you look at the top corner, I swear that above that wall, that's just part of Moya's set that you can see there in the background.
Oh, I see what you mean, but I don't know any set on Moya that's that tall.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, especially since they moved to Homebush Bay, all the ceilings are a little lower.
Yeah,
since season 2.
Fair point, yeah. It kind of just looked like they rolled some other set pieces in front, and we'll just use the lighting, it'll be fine.
Actually, maybe the hangar bay. The hangar bay's pretty tall.
Yeah, could be.
Interesting.
I mean, it makes sense that they deck it up as something else.
Because they've got a lot of fantastic locations in this episode. But so thanks to the Scorpius's drumroll brilliance,
they now have a plan.
And now we've also resolved a question that had been lingering in the minds of fans. Was Harvey also duplicated when John was duplicated?
Ah. Oh, okay. Yes, good point.
Because Black Tea John, he's seen Harvey.
Yeah. Well, there's the answer then, yes.
Yep.
If it's a perfect copy of John, then it makes sense that Harvey would be included in that.
You'd think. And now we have proof. This John not seeing Harvey might be evidence that, maybe there is unoriginal.
Yes.
Right?
But no. So, Chana awakes and goes looking for Jewel, gets intercepted by Fetor.
Oh, what a sleaze bag.
Jewel? Jewel!
Something wrong?
No. I was just trying to find Jewel. We should really be going.
You really are quite beautiful.
Yeah. Where's Jewel?
Don't be scared. Everything's all right.
Raxel is disappointed that their plan involves only the 2 guns that John was able to bring back.
Because apparently they now have a reputation, because she's talking about bombs and shadow depots, and apparently they've been heard of, which, much to Dargo's surprise, it's like, you've heard of us? It's like, not sure if that's a good or a bad thing.
I mean, I thought you were the great Crichton and Dargo.
You have heard of us?
Yeah, I've heard stories, but obviously they aren't worth a bucket of dread.
I mean, it depends on the context. It's fantastic. We get a bunch of quick cuts to earlier episodes. The command carrier, the explosion on the oil moon, the collapse of the shadow depository, bombs here, a strange creature there that we haven't seen yet.
Okay, I didn't catch that.
It's one of those blink and you'll miss it. Little cutaways.
Yeah.
Chiana finds Jewel, and now she's unfortunately the next victim. But before John and Dargo can enact their plan, they realize that they've been had by Raxel.
Raxel is just using them to get into Fetor's place because apparently her mate is there.
She engineered this whole scenario. She bribed the 2 alien girls with the feathers to distract them so that Fetor would move in and kidnap Chi and Jewel so that they would have a reason to go and rescue them, and she could sort of a sidecar ride along on their rescue mission to get her mate.
It's a bit of a convoluted plan, and it requires a lot of things going right, but it seems to have worked for her.
I knew that coming in now because I'd seen it before, and so I could see... I kind of love that.
How she's machining it.
Not just that, but she's also... I mean, yes, absolutely. But she's also adjusting her plan as she goes along. Like, she tries to get them to pay for the show with Hanji, because if they paid for it themselves, then they'd probably buy it a little bit more.
Yes.
But when it turns out that they're completely broke, she pays for it anyway.
Because she knows she needs to do this to get them to...
They have to see it, otherwise her plan falls apart. So I really like this character.
All right, you don't have to push me.
Point is, you see, we can be friends. You can trust me. You see, everybody trusts me because I'm a female of my word.
Oh, where's that?
It smells like...
Shh. Close, but no. It's Miramaru, you know? Kabal uses it in all his pleasure elixirs. Very low quality, but we don't tell him that.
This is much to Dargo's chagrin that when he finds out that they've been had, but it doesn't really change the situation anything. They still have to go in and get Jewel and Chiana.
For Dargo, this is a problem because all of Fetor's security forces have already seen him, so he's never going to get in. And that's when Raxel sprays him with this other stuff.
Is it the other? I thought it was just an overdose of Freslin.
It's an amount of Freslin, but apparently they all do other stuff, so...
Okay, so it's probably Freslin from a different creature. Or animal, as Fetor keeps referring to them.
I had pushed that out of my mind. That is, that is so vulgar and grim. But this one apparently causes a pheromonal response that gives you an aura morph that makes everyone who sees you see you as something else.
Yeah, it makes him look like a grey version of the Green Goblin, basically.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's the pointy ears and the pointy tail.
Yeah.
He has black hair. He has this...
It also changes his outfit, which is impressive.
Yes. What Dave Elsey... He is often disappointed in the Creatures of Farscape book because he would have liked a little bit more time and a little bit more this.
Right.
He wanted to give him a sort of a dignified samurai look. And he'd made these fantastic slitted pupils, or sort of contact lenses for Anthony Simcoe, which Anth refused to wear. He sort of very flatly...
No.
Nope, not doing it. And Dave was, oh, but come on, they look so cool. Even in season 3, they tried to talk him back into wearing those lovely green contacts that they made for him that he wore for like 3 episodes in season 1, and then, oh no, I got some makeup in it. Now the doctor says I can't wear them forever.
Yeah.
Oh. But no, and I mean, we've heard Anthony Simcoe talk about it before, like, with so much latex on your face, all your acting has to come out of your, well, in my case, my lips and my eyes.
Yeah, and body posture and everything like that, yeah.
So you're not taking my eyes away from me.
No, very good point.
I like this look.
Yes.
Enough!
Pilot is incredulous at this story, still not buying less and less of it.
And why does he not look that way now?
Yeah.
Y'all have wore off or something. Time for a heist.
Yep. They go to the auction where the little token that they've been given gets tested with something. They like drop some fluid on it and it starts bubbling and fizzing, which apparently authenticates the fact that it's a genuine token. And they're welcomed by Fetor.
Fetor himself.
John throws a bag of money at him like, look, I'm rich, I'm here to buy.
He does an extra southern accent.
I noticed that, yes. He's
like
almost sounding like me when I'm doing him in the readings.
Like the old-timey prospector who struck gold and is now new money rich.
I am your host, but names are not important. Only currency.
Well, son, I'm your buyer, and money ain't important to me. Only quality. Know what I mean?
Fetor actually recommends buying the Nabari.
Yeah.
And recognizes Raxel,
who sort of sneaks her way past.
I thought you'd given the Freslin trade away after your disaster on Elapuria.
Well, yeah, I did, let me tell you, but things change.
Because it turns out she was a competitor of his at one point, also selling Freslin. He briefly stops Dargo, Dandy Dargo, as this design is known, and asks, do we know each other? No, I don't think so. I've recently become a new man.
Yes. Cheeky.
So even though she's said that, okay, I've told you my whole lie now, there turns out to every time there's still more layers.
Yep, she still hasn't told them everything. The auction starts, somebody else is being sold, and Chiana is being brought in.
I love this set. This whole setup, it's set in the dark, the floor is lit, it really sells this sort of large auction vibe.
Very well done, yes.
Right, despite the fact that these are probably the same extras that were just on the beach like 5 minutes ago that have come into whatever warehouse was there.
Put some different outfits on.
Yeah,
and,
you're all in black robes now.
Yep.
Brilliant. And they start bidding with these little glow balls that they've got.
Which is really cool.
Bim,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Fetor comes in almost like a showman, throws up his own confetti, which is a bit, okay.
I know.
Does this guy just scream Vegas or what?
He's got these incredibly floor-length sequins hanging off of his sleeves. I swear to God, if I ever win the lottery, this is actually going to be me. I'm going to host parties like this, and I'm going to celebrate my own arrival by throwing my own confetti.
Yes.
Who's going to stop me?
Yes, this is where we see that Tanaka guy who wears a cowl, is that the word? Over
looks
his
like.
head, and he's got this white lacy ruff on his chest.
Oh, I like that. I'm amazed that you pegged this as the guy whose name to write down and you really focused on, because he's...
Again, he looked very familiar to me.
Because all he does is outbid John.
I know. He looks a bit like that guy who plays the Oompa Loompas in the latest Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I don't think it is him.
Oh, Deep Roy.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's only one of him.
And
he doesn't appear to be.
He's also not a Pacific
Indian
Island.
descent.
Pacific Island. Oh, is he Indian?
I don't know.
I don't know now. It could be either.
Yes, I mean, with a name like Deep, I thought it was from Sandeep. Oh no, I just assumed. I don't know. I just know that he's fantastic in everything that I've ever seen him, which includes I even recognized him when he appeared in Star Trek under layers and layers of latex.
Oh damn!
Yeah, he was in the new Star Trek films. He was Keenser, the little sort of oyster-faced gentleman with the metal eye stalks that works with Scotty. So alas, no Deep Roy here, but we do have an auction scene where John uses the bidding to get ever closer to a strung-up and slightly strung-out Chiana.
No, I mean, she's not in good straits.
Asking to inspect the carcass.
The bid quickly gets run up to ridiculous levels.
150,000. 151.
Yeah, he brought 200,000 and the bid goes up to 250,000. But by this time, he's had them...
You mind cutting this heifer down so I can take a closer look?
Hey, John.
Yeah.
They can be a bit cooler.
Which actually, the way he's going up to Chiana and just cozying up to her and sniffing her and pawing at her really enrages Dargo, which apparently is making the changing stuff wear off faster, because if his heart rate or oxygenation goes up, then Raxel says that oh no, keep calm, it'll...
You mind cutting this heifer down so I can take a closer look?
Did you have to caress her whole body?
Oh, for crying out
Just
loud.
a frizzing. It makes him,
Shut up!
Shut up. Listen up, Mr. Horny Toad.
You're metabolizing your disguise too fast.
Yeah.
This is a really tightly plotted episode.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This holds together really, really well, because Raxel asks him, wait, were you together? If you're not anymore, just relax. It's all an act.
Yeah.
Keep calm,
But no, apparently Dargo still has... feelings, or at least a little bit of jealousy lingering around. It kind of goes wrong because, John is outbid. He tries to, play for credit. I can outbid you if you give me some time. And Fetor is no, cash only. And at roughly the same time, Dargo's disguise wears out.
Yes.
There's a very exasperated sigh from John when everything starts going south.
Yeah, why can it never be smooth?
Yeah.
As the guards yell, "It's the Luxon!" It's really cool to see him morph from one outrageous makeup to his own exquisite makeup.
Yeah.
Just the amount of time he must have spent in the chair for just that one shot.
And, John shoots out the breakers, which have gorgeous sparklers in them.
Yeah.
And have we seen this toy that John now has, the infrared thing? Is that something from did they have that in the heist?
In the Shadow Depository?
In the Shadow Depository heist, yes.
They had these sort of monocular... I mean, he didn't have one at the time. They didn't trust him with a gun.
Right, that was it.
And also they were rescuing him. I think Aaron was wearing hers.
I can't see. Mine's not working.
Just shoot!
There was an argument earlier on how many paces it is to the milking room.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 steps.
8 steps.
10.
8. Small legs, human.
Because they're arguing constantly. They're arguing the entire episode.
Every opportunity.
Small human legs. And it turns out that in the dark, he kind of takes more careful paces, because after he tries to turn right in the dark after 8 paces.
No, he said 10.
Shut up, I know what I'm talking about. It's 8, you're making me lose my place. 8, shut up!
You're wrong.
He thuds himself into the wall, alerting the lady inside the milking room to that the fact that something is approaching, but he actually goes
10.
She's got a gun on him, but that doesn't do her any good because he tongue lashes her.
Yep.
Drop your weapon.
Big news, everyone! This is the first time that he's used that tongue lash on anyone other than his friends.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, the only time that he's used it successfully is against his housemates.
Yeah.
And anybody else, like either he misses or they catch his tongue.
Okay. I mean, I was going to say he's used
someone.
it before, but now he uses it effectively, yeah.
Yes. Now, we're still waiting for him to use his... Oh, no, he's even used his sword effectively. Look at it go.
Yes, he has.
Only took you
he's
3.5 seasons.
Dargo carries off Jules. Jewel, not
Yeah,
Jules.
no,
Sorry, my bad.
I think that's a lovely nickname.
For some reason, John goes back in that room as well with Jenna. It's a bit unclear
Yes,
why. It's
good
unclear
point.
how they end up there. Maybe they're just running away from the general mayhem in the main room.
Dargo carries Jewel out just as John is arriving with Chi.
Yeah.
And points out that Raxel is still in there with her mate, who is now dead.
Yes.
The,
I mean, there's a brief moment where she goes like, oh, he's dead. But then she goes in for what she's actually here for, which is stealing back the chip that powers the
milking
extraction
machine
Yes.
that costs a fortune or
Apparently
whatever.
it was her invention, and it was stolen from her by Phalor.
And that's what she was after this whole time. And she's so happy. And she runs away, and the guys just sort of let her get away with it because...
I know, yeah.
Well, because this lie doesn't affect them at all.
No.
They already knew that they were being exploited by her, and they agreed to be exploited this far, and like...
And they have what they came for, so like whatever.
There's
let
no
her have.
reason to stop her.
She goes like, "Oh, hang on, like let me take this on, like this little ocular thing off for you. We don't want it to get damaged," and then darts off.
Yeah.
Seconds before Phalor punches John, rather than warning him or anything else, she's just like, "Thank you for saving me. Here now, I'm going to let you get beat up by this guy with no warning." It's like, what are you doing? I mean, that's very cheeky of Chi, but.
Yeah, well, at least she protected the sort of infrared goggles on his right eye before he was punched in the right eye.
Yeah. A bit of a struggle, gun goes flying, people get knocked about, Phalor ends up on the ground. Fetor, sorry.
We're going to get notes on that otherwise. But because Fetor's attention is so much on John, he's not paying attention to Chi, who has snuck away, grabbed herself a giant beaker full of the Freslin that was milked out of Jewel, and overdoses fucking Fetor.
First he throws it in his face, then when he's down on the floor, she just basically pours it in his mouth, and...
Sad thing is, he's gonna die happy.
She's enjoying this.
Oh, yes.
Which...
She's getting her comeuppance, yeah.
Sorry,
the other way around. She's giving her comeuppance.
His uppance has come.
His uppance has been well inflicted.
Uppance, a bag, uppance. Okay. And this concludes the story.
Yeah. Back to John talking to Pilot.
He's even brought a drink with him.
Yes.
Too.
Almost like he can prove it. Like
sipping on a straw, still drunk.
Pilot, however, is not mollified. He is like, I said 10 days, it's been 2 days.
I suspect the dirty little secret is you spent all your currency on pleasure, and now...
I found another industrial planet for you.
That has lodging, so you stay there. But he goes, but we can prove it. You can ask the girls. No, they're still sleeping it off. And even if I did believe you...
Moya and I desire time away from your constant bickering, and this adventure, however embellished, does not alleviate that need.
It doesn't change anything.
And only this is now where we learn why they were like banished. It's like me and Moya are getting sick of your arguing. It's like we want some time away from that.
Yes,
and
and
since
this story
can't leave, you are leaving.
Yep, this story has not altered this need at all.
As is shown when John leaves Pilot's den and in front of the door starts arguing with Dargo.
Yeah, you want to try? No.
Dargo was like, you told the story all wrong. Like, I told it my way. You can go ahead and tell it your way. And Dargo declines.
Wisely, I think. You see Pilot growling from his perch.
What? He didn't believe you?
No.
Well, what was that thing about a slim duck?
Slam dunk.
And then they argue about who's going to open the door for whom.
Yes.
God.
You're not arguing. No, you're arguing. It's like, that's not how arguing works, Dargo. Arguing is always that happens between two people.
Yes. I can understand why those girls in the beginning asked...
Are you boys a couple?
Yeah.
A couple of fools is what you are.
Absolutely.
That's how I've answered that question in the past.
Good.
Thank you. And...
Oh.
This is going to prove challenging because...
She gives me a woody.
She gives you the willies.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, willies, the milking, that's almost obvious, I would say.
Yes.
It's like the depiction of the abuse that is inflicted upon Jewel and Chiana.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a bit of a easy target to use as a willy.
Yeah, I don't see any alternative.
No.
Right.
Let me think. Is there anything that I would...
Which I guess is also kind of the point.
I guess. Okay, so this is more of a shower thought is like, why didn't they use their communicators to try to contact Jewel and Chiana right in the beginning? You know, in the morning after. They could have just gone like beep.
Well, they did try. In fact, Raxel showed them that, to prove that she knew where the girls were, that she showed them Jewel's comms, which were recognizable, so Jewel didn't have hers.
No, but Chiana did. You can see it on her when she's lying about in Fetor's apartment.
Zoned out? Like, would you be answering your phone when you're blissed out like that?
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Woody, that has to go to the outfits.
and the people that they put inside them.
Well, yes, okay.
Do you have specific outfits in mind?
Oh, well, I did like those two on the beach. The ones with the dark clothing with the bright trimming. Those looked very good.
Oh, yes.
I like those.
The beach people looked like they were... they were clearly trying to stay warm in the frigid Australian morning with nothing on their body. So they were all dancing very enthusiastically and...
Yeah, the people you can see just after the opening credits. You can see them like through the tent on the other side, standing outside, dancing about.
Through the tent, you say?
Looking out through the tent flap, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this shot here. Those people look fantastic. Those outfits, that's like, oof.
I have been fortunate enough in my short life to have visited some parties like this, and they're tremendously stimulating and fun and interesting.
Yes.
Until the cops show up.
Well.
Oof. And then after they leave, as well, usually.
Well, why not? And you?
Willie, obviously, to the heavy themes of exploitation in this episode, and even, I thought that this was kind of cunning. There's so much eye candy here.
Yeah.
For various... not everybody is into slim, fit, mid-20s Australian people, but for a lot of people, that's a great joy to look at and to show off. But for Chiana to be strung up among them, is really confronting. Or Jewel on that chair. Now, I know that as performers, they were probably having great fun with it and really getting to perform their craft. But it is sort of confronting, hey, there is all this eye candy, and not all of it is as joyous as the people dancing on the beach.
There's a hidden dark side to all the pretty things and the partying that's going on here.
Yeah, because there is power involved, there is money involved, and that is never without its risks and a dark side. So I actually struggle to give that my willy, because I think it's great that that's included. That this joyous episode still has a sharp edge to it that you can cut yourself on.
Yeah.
But I don't know what else I would give it to. And
maybe the fantastic puppet that they made.
That's my Woody.
Yeah,
the Hanji is definitely my Woody. I love that it's so alien, and Dave Elsey. As soon as he sort of read this script, he ran over to the producers and okay, what does it need to do? Does it need to walk around? No, it just sit still. Great, I'll be back. I'll be right back. And the set design also, Tim Ferrier. He really went overboard on these fantastic geometric sets. They're beautifully lit. I can understand that he spent all of his budget on all of these locations, and they wouldn't give him any money for building an apartment for Fetor. Okay, fine, we'll do it in mine.
If you have got a place like that,
I know.
Yeah, you might as well use it. He's clearly not hurting for it if you own a place like that.
Or is it exasperated pilot? That should get
exasperated pilot is fantastic. I do love me the pilot. he is so it's like, why do I put up with this?
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. No more. Enough.
He didn't believe you?
And that's the story so Farscape.
Join us next week for episode 314, Daedalus Demands, where an unknown race has developed wormhole technology using John's data, and the ancient isn't happy.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So from this gonzo sojourn, we're back to the plot that we were following earlier. There's wormholes involved again. Very exciting. Hey, thanks again to everyone who sent in synopses for these. We've had them coming in for almost a year since the first synopsis came in for this episode, and they didn't disappoint. If you want to send in your own synopsis or a recommendation for fanfic, or you want to support us, you can find links to the submissions form or to our Patreon on soulfarscape.com/links. But before we sign off, Kay, I've got something for you.
Yes? Ooh.
Okay, so aside from the Creatures of Farscape book that I'm going to show you, which has a whopping 3 pages devoted to this episode.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really great. We start off with Dandy Dargo. Here's the photoshopped version that includes the sort of slitted insectoid eyes.
Oh, yes.
You can see why Dave Elsey was so excited to put him in this.
I mean, he looks fantastic like this. You almost don't recognize him as Anthony Simcoe like this.
You are permitted to flip the page.
Which way? Forward or backwards? Yes, thank
Forward.
you. Oh, yes, here we have the Kabah. Yeah.
What a fantastic puppet that is. And I think, let me just peek. Yes, you can do one more and you can see Raxel, including an earlier design, which was also sort of a hammerhead look.
Oh, yes, I see.
That wound up going to the Hanji.
Yeah. Oh.
Once again, thank you to our Patreon supporters for enabling us to buy this book. And once again, thank you to Metatron for donating Volume 2 of the Farscape magazine.
Oh, there is a Volume 2.
Yes.
You kept me in the dark whether or not that existed.
There's another one. It came out when Season 3, Episode 12 just finished. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of interviews with David Kemper in this one.
Rapping with Rigel. It's Jonathan Hardy. Free poster.
It's really great. There's an interview indeed with Jonathan Hardy who voices Rigel, and he speaks with... He's just a delight to listen to and to read about.
I'm going to have fun going through this and giving it a read.
And I think we both are, because there's another story in here by Keith R.A. DeCandido.
Oh, very good. That'll make a good candidate for
the next fanfiction?
Fanfiction, yeah, let's go for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us once again, and we'll see you next week with some fanfic. After that, with Daedalus Demands, and in the meantime, so Farscape, so good.
Pilot, I don't think you've understood me. Let me just start again.
Kraken, no!
See? I did my best.
Your best was to blow it.
I did my best.
Well, you blew it.
Dargo, he's kicking us off Moya because we argue.
He's kicking us off Moya because you argue.
No, we argue.
You argue.
You
argue.
We argue. You would argue with a lamppost.
I do not open the door.
You open the door.
You open the door.
What, you're a girl? I'm going to open the door for you? Open the door.
I'm older than you. Show some respect. Open the door.
You can open the door. I'm not opening the door.
I'm not opening no door. You open it.